Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for all the work that this committee has done over the years to bring attention to Alzheimer's. I also want to say thank you to the families who are impacted by this devastating disease, who have come to be with us today to advocate for progress. You know, here in Congress, it is our responsibility to do everything we can to find a cure. In 30 years, experts estimate that spending on Alzheimer's will increase to more than $1 trillion to pay for doctor's visits, medications, emergency departments, hospital admissions, skilled nursing facility care. Even today, Americans spend an estimated $305 billion a year caring for people with Alzheimer's, but the National Institute of Health spends just 1% of that amount on Alzheimer's research. Providing continued enhanced funding is a critical weapon in our fight against this disease. So let me start with you, Dr. Supiano. We spend far too little on Alzheimer's research, but I'd like to understand more about the impact that even that small amount of funding has had. What scientific advances and improvements have been made as a result of the federal research dollars that we've spent?
Yes, thank you, Senator Warren, for that question, and thank you for your advocacy for enhancing Alzheimer's disease research and research in biomedical science in general. So your point is well taken, but the investment that has been made, as I said in my testimony, the infusion of support over the last several years has resulted in dramatic advances. We now are aware that there are effective strategies to prevent the development of cognitive impairment. We also know, and related to the focus today on caregiving, that there are effective dementia care management programs that incorporate caregivers that have been shown to decrease healthcare utilization and prevent early nursing home placements. So these investments are important. You're also aware, and I know last year this committee heard testimony from Dr. Richard Hodes, the director of the National Institute on Aging, and the investment that has been made in the basic biology of Alzheimer's disease and the genetics of Alzheimer's disease is also bearing fruit. We're on the cusp, hopefully, of being able to offer the first disease-modifying drug for Alzheimer's disease. We have a lot more work to do, but thanks to the infusion of support that has been made to date, these advances are now available and they're ready to be implemented. I think now is our chance to provide the support to now implement these particular strategies now that we know that they're effective.
Right. Well, that is powerfully important. Federal funding helps drive innovation and it helps move us that much closer to a cure. You know, in the last 10 years, the federal government has increased funding for Alzheimer's and dementia research, but it's still not enough. Meanwhile, the coronavirus pandemic upended biomedical research across the country, which has led to delays in critical studies. Dr. Supiano, has the coronavirus pandemic impacted the work of scientists and researchers who are studying Alzheimer's?
Yes, thank you, Senator Warren. And to a certain extent, the scientific community is not immune from the effects of the pandemic and the way that it has altered the way that we go about our business, in this case, biomedical investigation. To the search team, yes, and some delays are apparent in clinical trials for Alzheimer's disease, and the impact of the pandemic on recruitment into those trials and being able to conduct those trials safely has certainly had a delay. And to that end, getting even more support now to make up for that lost time and accelerate advances going forward will be even more important as we now emerge from the pandemic, thankfully. But that said, as you pointed out, medical scientists are innovators, and we have learned a lot through the pandemic. So to be able to conduct pragmatic trials that can be done remotely, applying virtual telehealth technologies to medical research is another opportunity and another advancement that has been made. So there are some benefits from what we've been living with in the last year that while there have been delays, we have still been able to make progress in this fight against Alzheimer's disease and related dementias.
Well, I know that biomedical researchers have made valiant efforts to innovate and to keep these studies going during the pandemic, but this just underscores the need for more federal support. That's why I will soon be introducing the National Biomedical Research Act, a bill that would invest $100 billion over 10 years in research at NIH and FDA. This is the funding that could be used to fund breakthrough treatments for Alzheimer's or to find ways to slow the progression of the disease. I appreciate the work that you have been doing. I know that no amount of research funding can make up for the heartbreak of losing a loved one to Alzheimer's, but research funding can help prevent the heartbreak for many other families down the line. So I am very hopeful that my colleagues in the Senate will join me in supporting the National Biomedical Research Act. Let's get this one done. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Warren. We'll turn next to Senator Braun.
Oh,